What is up, my friends? How are we? You are very welcome along to Thursday night's late night agenda. I was reading through your comments, as I always do, before we start the stream, and while I'm humming and singing away in the background while the intro song is playing, and I seen a little bit of a narrative forming in the chat, and I just wanted to, start the stream by posing a question back to you guys. Somebody in the chat was saying, why are Liverpool fans happy to see Salah go? And I don't know of any who are. So I guess my question is, where did this narrative come from? Because most Liverpool fans I speak to want all three to renew. I certainly don't know of any Liverpool fan who would be happy to lose Mohamed Salah. I think Liverpool fans just feel like it's the least likely of the three to get done. And I guess that's been backed up by many conversations that we've seen. So just to start off the stream tonight, I don't know where that narrative has appeared from or why people are thinking Liverpool fans are happy for Mo to go. I don't know of any who are, and I'm certainly not in that camp. I want Mo to extend. I just think it's more difficult than the other two. So, my friends, that is where we're going to kick off tonight. Of course, we chatted with David Lynch earlier on, and I'm going to take you through some of what David had to say as well. If you get a chance, please do have a look on the YouTube channel. You'll see the full video there, and of course, you can get the podcast audio as well, if that is your preference. Nomad, how are you, bro? Member with us for 15 months. Thank you so much, mate. That's really kind of you being with us that long. Said, hi, Craig. Is there any update on merch? Lots of love to you and the family. Not really, to be honest. There's a kind of tier list of things we're looking to work through. Website is probably the next one on the list. But merch, look, I don't like trying to sell stuff. I know that sounds weird when I'm trying to sell tickets to the live show quite a bit, but I just don't know about merch, man. I don't know if we're big enough to start selling some merch. I don't know. I'm always very cautious on the merch stuff, but it is something we are currently looking into, and that was part of my trip over to Turkey as well, to look into some stuff over there. So I've no updates after the minute, bro, but leave it with me, and I promise you I'll try and figure it out as soon as I can. Right, Scotty said, we as Liverpool fans want Mo to stay. That's absolutely the narrative that I'm seeing as well, mate. Look, we want all three to stay. I think if we... Do you know what I mean? Let's just ask the chat. That's the easiest way to talk about this. Let's just ask the chat with a poll. Do you want all three to stay? Easiest way to kick us off. Do you want all three contracts renewed or sorted so the lads stay? There you go. So first question, do you want all three contracts sorted so the lads stay? Yes or no? So then we'll get an idea of if anybody isn't hoping that one of the lads stay, because honestly I don't know of anybody who doesn't want the three of them to stay that I've spoken to. I just think whether you're listening to myself and David Lynch talking or anybody else, there is just a feeling that the Virgil one is easy, the Trent one is potentially likely, but the Mohamed Salah one is the most difficult one of the three. And that's just us being honest on it. It doesn't mean, of course, that we don't want Mo to stay. We do. We absolutely do. Right, a few little bits and pieces around actually Trent Alexander-Arnold to kick us off tonight, and a bit of a compliment, I guess, from David Beckham on Trent. He said his vision is unbelievable and he's an exceptional player, but when I look at a player and I think I see myself in the way he puts the ball in, what he sees, in the long balls that he plays balls that some players don't even think about, and that's what I love about him as a player. Good to see Trent getting some plaudits from, players like David Beckham, who obviously had a wand of a foot. So, yeah, about time. About time people are putting a bit more respect on Trent Alexander-Arnold's name, and we're not getting the lazy Roy Keane era of he can't defend, it's embarrassing, and all that other nonsense that Roy comes out with. Can you do a poll of who of the three were most willing to lose? Yes. Morganski, that's a good idea, mate. That'll be the next poll I put up. No problem with that, bro. Give me a few minutes and we'll get to that one. So, they're at it again, is all I'm going to say. They're at it again. So, the Echo have put up another one of their dodgy headlines with a picture of Conor Bradley in the Liverpool shirt. And the headline reads, "That's me done here. Bradley in Liverpool admission as new challenge emerges." Obviously, we know Conor Bradley isn't going, and that's really not what they're writing about here. But once again, it's just a headline that's so unnecessary and so scaremongering in its ways. Imagine going with "That's me done here" as the headline. It is absolute clickbait bollocks from the Echo. And this is all they seem to resort to these days. It's truly embarrassing at this point. Why write that? Why go with that low of a headline? Because you only want to get people angry to click in to see that the article is actually something harmless. It's nonsense. They should be ashamed of themselves. Right, Chris. Thank you, mate. Chris Davies, member with us for 4 months. Chris said, how much would you pay Trent in a new contract? I would go to about 300k. I think you're probably not too far off. Even speaking with David Lynch earlier, I threw out to David the question about the potential of a 280k a week offer that was rumoured to be rejected, and he couldn't substantiate whether that offer came or was rejected. But what he did say again is we're probably not a million miles away from a number that the club will look at. And I think you're probably right, mate. Around 300 seems the perceived wisdom. Some people feel a bit higher, but what I've always said is I feel like this was doable for a lot less a year ago, and now the position that we're in, we may have to overpay or pay a little bit more than initially the club would have wanted to, but it is what it is. We got to keep Trent at this point. What else have we got? Stevie Boy, thank you, mate, for your super chat. Stevie Boy said, if Mo, VVD been in their mid-20s, like Trent is now, who do you think would you keep? For me, Mo and VVD, thoughts? Probably agree with you. If all of them were 26, let's say, yeah, I'm saying that Mo and Virgil would probably have the bigger impact on the team. So I would agree with you on that one, Stevie Boy. I'd probably, in your scenario, if I had to lose one in that scenario and they're all the same age, I'd probably have lost Trent. But he isn't. He is 26, and that's another reason why, of course, we want him to stay. Do I believe in the Liverpool Echo? No, I don't anymore. And look, when I call out the Echo, and I will continue to do it, I want to make something very clear. I don't have anything against any particular journalist at the Echo. I don't know them. It wouldn't be fair of me to judge them. I'll call them out if I see an article I don't like, but this type of crap should be beneath them. They're journalists. It's a local newspaper. And I know times are more difficult for written journalists these days, but you don't have to resort to that. You know, you don't have to try and scare people into clicking into an article with a headline that's nothing but sensationalist nonsense. So I don't trust in them, mate. No, I used to pay a lot of attention to it when James Pearce worked there and people previously, but I would be a liar if I said I don't feel it's gone downhill since maybe its best days. No, but look, I guess I'd be more inclined, Dale, to hear from Scousers on what they think about it, because it's a paper that obviously represents the city of Liverpool, so I'd be more interested to see what Scousers think on it, really. Corbin, 2003, thank you, bro, for your super chat, said, I would take 300k a year and feel rich. Dude, I'd take that as well. I mean, I'm nowhere near getting 300k a year, far from it, but I'd like you, mate, I'd bite your hand off for 300k a year, but I guess it's not really relevant, is it? I guess. If you think about it, like, you get to go and rate in your industry for what you're doing. And Trent is in a very good situation to negotiate because he has options now. He's got the Real Madrid interest there, so we can obviously leverage that at Liverpool to try and get himself the best deal possible. And look, I don't hate Trent at all for that. That's his prerogative. It's the club, and I've said this all the way through this process. I have no issues with any of the players at this point. None. My issues with the club allowing this to happen. And that's where I'm confused, mate. You know, how the club allowed us to be put in this position or put themselves in this position. Anyone that gets paid 150k or over should be lucky. Some are getting a bit greedy. Myself. Look, football's mad, mate. I'm not going to disagree with you. The numbers and the wages that some footballers are getting these days, you know, it's astronomical stuff, but it is what it is. You know, what gets me is not what the players are being paid. It's the agents and the money that's been taken out of the game that really annoys me, if I'm being honest with you. And the way the commercialization of match tickets, the way that's going, and the prices that they're going up to, some of it's absolutely crazy. Right, let's get through some of the news. So, I did ask David about Loic Balde, who some people have been asking me to ask about Loic Balde. I did, and he quite simply, like myself, not only had he not heard of a link to Liverpool, but he didn't actually know anything about the player, which, let's be honest, I'm like that a lot of the time as well. So Anything Liverpool posted up from Vitezslav to say that Sevilla are reportedly well advanced in the sale of Loic Balde, who, if nothing goes wrong, will head to Liverpool in the winter transfer market. The deal will be closed for a figure close to €25 million. Now, as I said, I asked David about it. I haven't really heard anything about it. I've seen links to the player. I don't know much about him. David couldn't substantiate the rumour either, but it is a story that was put out there. Look, I think, like when we talk about Vitezslav as an example, I think they are certainly belonging on our special little island that we have. They've their own ambassadorial residence on Bullshit Island, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm not really in agreement there. Now, one thing that was interesting, chatting with David earlier on, was around Vitezslav Jaros. And I asked him, what the goalkeeper situation is going to pan out like. And obviously in that conversation, I'd said to him that Jaros' contract up at the end of this season. And he said, although it does show up on Transfermarkt that his contract is up in 2025, he believes that Jaros signed an extension and there may be a bit longer on his contract. So we're trying to look into that and find out an exact date. If you did search it yourself, it'll show 2025 on Transfermarkt and a few other sites. But David seems to think that there might be a bit longer to run on his contract. So we will give you a confirmation on that when we get it. King said, our beautiful game is changing for the worst. In many aspects, it's a shame. It is. It is, mate. And do you know what really angers me the most, King, is that the Premier League allowed this shit to happen. They allowed the ownership of sovereign wealth funds or state-backed funds to come in and worm their way into the Premier League. And now we're seeing the fruits of that, which is almost a civil war within the Premier League. I'd seen somebody actually ask me in the comments a while ago, any update on the Man City stuff? No, not really. And I wouldn't really expect anything from that hearing to come out until January time. And even at that, whatever way it is, I still wouldn't be getting too excited or upset about it, because if City were to win, I would expect the Premier League would challenge it and vice versa. So I think this is still going to drag on until the middle of next year, probably. Liverpool FC bro said Trent 6-year contract 2030, Salah 2-year contract, Van Dijk 2-year contract. I'd be absolutely fine with that. I think that's sensible, what you've said there. Tie Trent down as long as possible. And 2 years for the two lads. And do you know what? I think a lot of people forget when we talk about 2 additional years for Virgil and Mohamed, we're talking about 2 years after the end of this season. So it's almost 3 years in total that they'd be still with the club, which I think is the right way to go. If I was certainly looking to make offers to these gents, that's the way I'd be going. Darwizzy Lover said, at the start of 2024, he penned a new deal with Liverpool before heading out on loan to Austrian side Sturm Graz. Brilliant. We'll try and find out exactly when that deal is, because as I said, on Transfermarkt it says 2025. So yeah, good news on Jaros there, because my fear was, let's say we bring in Georgie Marmoush in the summer, which we know is going to happen. So let's say Kelleher then departs. What if Alisson was to go? I didn't want Liverpool left in a position where they just had Georgie Marmoush and maybe lost one or two of the others. So, any two of that 4, and I think the club are okay moving forward. But you do want to make sure, I think, that we keep at least 2 of those gents, because we have a great collection of goalkeepers. Jaros, obviously, at the younger side of things. Kelleher, I do expect him to move on, because I'm very sympathetic to the fact he would have looked at Georgie Marmoush coming in the summer and thought, well, am I ever going to be number 1 at Liverpool? And unfortunately, it doesn't look like he will. So if the right offer comes in there, then I would expect Quiveen to move on. Troy King said, Salah disappointed me last year when we needed him. I don't know, he just doesn't entertain me anymore. So, for me, and I'm working off memory here, so, if I'm wrong on this, I apologise. But my memory of Salah's seasons with us has always been a tail off at the end of the campaign. I don't know why, whether it's fatigue or whatever, but I always remember for the last couple of months of a campaign that he falls away a bit. Sometimes I felt like he was maybe chasing the golden boot and taking on a few chances that he shouldn't have, but I've always felt like starts the season well, middles it well, but fatigues towards the end. So I'm hoping that Arne Slot can find a way to limit the load on Mo or rotate him a little bit more this season, obviously with Chiesa coming in. But for me, look, the question is, how do you go about replacing a man like Mohamed Salah? And the short answer is, you probably can't. But I was encouraged by one thing that I spoke with David today, and it kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I said to David, if Mohamed Salah moved on, we've seen links to Rodrygo at Real Madrid. They've quoted about 85 million in some of the articles I've written, and I said to him, surely this is a little bit of hyperbole or very unrealistic, even though we have looked at Rodrygo before. And he thought it was a fairly reasonable assumption that if Mohamed Salah did move on and Liverpool didn't renew there, that Rodrygo, if Madrid were looking to sell, would be a realistic option for Liverpool. Now, again, I'm not trying to put words in David's mouth. You can watch the video yourself and see what he said, but I was pleasantly surprised by it, because without wanting to speak for everybody in the chat, I'd be happy enough if that was the case. I don't want to lose Mo, but if we did and we couldn't help or solve that situation, I'd be happy with Rodrygo coming in for about 85 million quid. That would make me, I'd be happy with that, is basically what I'm trying to say. So, I think we can end this poll. The contract question was, do you want all 3 contracts sorted so the lads stay? I mean, it's only gone one way here. 90% yes, 10% no. So we don't need to carry that poll on any longer. So, now I'm going to ask the difficult question. You have to lose one. Which one are you losing? Let's ask that question here. Right, so I'm going to put the poll up now. Oh, no, that was a Q&A I was doing. Wrong one, sorry. Sorry, folks, bear with me. There we go. So, VVD, Salah, and Trent. Right, cool. Vote away. So if we have to lose one in this scenario, because I think the perceived wisdom is we may lose one. Now, it's not good enough if we do, and I think we've every right to be angry if we do lose one of them, but I think the perceived wisdom is we might lose one. And I hope that's not the case, but I can understand why people feel it's going to be more difficult to renew Mo. So the Athletic are saying that the verdict on Manchester City's charges is expected before the end of this year. Good. You know, the sooner the better we get an outcome here. My problem is, what if it's not the verdict we're all feeling they deserve, shall we say? Because I don't know what people are expecting, but I know what people feel they deserve. So for me, I'm worried about that. I'm also worried about the situation if Trent does move on and we can't renew him. I don't know how that's going to be received by Liverpool fans other than frustration. Kelleher has another year left after this year, King, on his contract. Working off memory, I'm sure Kelleher has this year, and I think it's 2026 when his contract is up. I think. Happy to be correct on that, but off memory, that's the thought process. Tilsheen said, Mo is a problem that will be hard to fix. If quality is available, they might let him go this summer. It's a big call to make. You know, because if you're talking about 350k a week for Mo, and let's say you brought in somebody like Rodrygo, and there's a difference there of, let's say, 150 grand a week, just for curiosity. 150 grand a week is what? 7.5 million quid a year? 7.5 million quid a year over a 5-year deal. There's what? 15, 30, 45 million plus a transfer fee. I mean, I'm no accountant, but, you know, I know we have a long-held interest in Rodrygo. That's all I can say. And again, we tried to sign him when he was at Santos, and we didn't quite get it done, and he ended up going to Real Madrid. But I would be very happy to see the club backing the manager with that much money on an attacking player if the worst came to the worst and we lost Mo. Aaron said Rodrygo isn't good enough for Liverpool. I would respectfully disagree, mate. But look, this is an opinion game, isn't it? You know, you're entitled to yours, I'm entitled to mine. I just, looking around at world football right now, he'd probably be at the very top of my 3 choices maybe to come in there. Remember, he's still very young, Rodrygo, and still has more developing left in him, and he's been used sparingly up until probably last season more by Real Madrid. But I would say he's good enough, personally. I would say he's more than good enough to come in. Now, I don't expect him to do a Salah number if he does come in, but still, I would be happy with it as a solution, if that's the right word. Can we bring Kudus for Salah? Again, another good suggestion. I think a lot of Liverpool fans, and I would include myself in that, would have no issues with Kudus either. You're probably looking at a similar number, you know, as what we'd have to pay. Or if you're looking at 85 million quid, that's probably a number you're going to have to pay for Kudus as well to get him out of West Ham. But with the other side of that coin, I guess, with Mo Kudus, you've got somebody who's Premier League tried and tested, Premier League proven, and an exciting player to watch as well. When do Real Madrid ever let players leave unless they're forced out? Well, think of the situation, Carl, right now at Real Madrid. So they've got Vinicius Jr., Rodrygo, Endrick, Jude Bellingham, Valverde, Kylian Mbappe. It's going to be very difficult to keep all these established internationals happy and playing. And Rodrygo was playing week in, week out most weeks for Real Madrid last season. Now, you know, it's coming from his side here, by the way, these links that maybe he's assessing the landscape. So Madrid will let players leave. They've let Casemiro leave as an example because United were stupid enough to pay the amount of money they did. And look, if he wants out, I'm sure Madrid will have a price that they want, and if they can get that, fair enough. But they don't have never-ending pots of money either, Real Madrid. You know, bringing in Mbappe, bringing in Bellingham, bringing in Endrick, you know, they all have to be paid for somehow as well, and so do their wages. So, again, I don't know Madrid's finances inside out, but this is more coming from his side. The reports are saying that he is weighing up his future. Not that Liverpool are looking to go after him. We're just a club that's been linked as an option. George said Rodrygo isn't good enough for us. Do you know, again, I'm going to say, if he's good enough to win the fucking European Cup, I'm thinking he's good enough for us. And it's not like he was a bit part player. He played a big part in Madrid season last year. And again, I think you're deluded, George. I'm sorry, mate. I've seen some of your comments in the chat, and you were the one that was shitting and moaning about people not wanting Salah when I hadn't seen a single comment to say nobody wanted Salah. You just seem to be a little bit argumentative today, mate. And I don't know why. Because you're trying to start rousing the chat for no reason. Nobody was saying they wanted rid of Mo, and you were pissing and moaning in the chat about it. So, I don't know, mate. Look, you're free to say what you want to say. Have at it. But this not good enough stuff is far-fetched, to be honest with you, mate. If we're looking at Ben Doak and thinking Ben Doak's good enough to be at Liverpool Football Club, which he is, I struggle to see how we're not going to say Rodrygo would be good enough to play for Liverpool Football Club. That's just weird. What about, what's this one? Somebody asking for Omar Marmoush. Again, speaking with David about that, nothing imminent that I'm aware of. You know, you'd have to be a fool not to be impressed by the start of the season that Marmoush has had with Frankfurt. And maybe if Darwin were to move on, that could be an option. It's the type of player we should be looking at, let's be honest. I mean, there was a piece come out from an Egyptian journalist, I think it was, during the week to say that, you know, Marmoush is getting to Mohamed Salah levels in Egypt now where people are just excited to tune in and watch him. And his games with Eintracht Frankfurt and that are garnering a lot of interest and a lot of support. So certainly looks like a player who's on the up and up and will have a big move ahead of him. What's this one? Yeah, see, this is all just bullshit. There's this piece that came out that Mark's just sent to me that said, if Manchester City are found guilty and severely punished due to the 115 charges, the feeling is that Pep Guardiola would be more likely to sign a new contract out of defiance. The fuck he would! Yeah, sure. Pep Guardiola is going to go to manage in the in the Football League North, if that's where Madrid get, or excuse me, if that's where City get thrown out to. Yeah, Pep Guardiola is going to go there. And absolutely, City would be able to afford Pep Guardiola if they were relegated down to the Championship or relegated down to the, I don't know, Football League North or South. Come on now, who are they trying to kid with this shit? Guardiola has been a wormy little weasel all the way through this, with bullshit comment after nonsense comment about, we'll respect your decisions, as we always do. Come on. If they're found guilty, one, they can't afford to keep them if they're banned and thrown out of the league. So that argument goes out the window, unless they're going to do what they've done previously, which is pay him anyway. And that's kind of where we are with Manchester City. I'm sorry, I'm not having it. Pep's full of it. That's full of it. They're all full of it. Yeah, out of defiance. Getting paid about 8-10 million quid a year out of defiance. I'll be defiant if somebody wants to give me 8 or 10 million quid a year. I'll be defiant. Anfield Agenda gets no views from next week, but somebody wants to keep paying me to be defiant. I think we can all take that, shoulder that responsibility if somebody's thrown wads of cash at us. David said, love the channel, Craig. Going through some issues at the moment in my personal life, but can always rely to watch your videos to brighten my mood. I'm sorry to hear that, David. I hope things pick up for you, mate. We do think of you all as family on here, and if you're going through a difficult time, I hope better days are ahead soon. And look, if we can cheer you up a little bit, or you can come in and spend some time with us, man, all the better. So thank you for your support, and I wish you better days ahead soon, my friend. Right, Corbin 2003, how are you, bro? Thank you for your super chat. Said, I wish we could get these talents early like Madrid seem to. Really would like to see us more in the South American market. They got Vinny, etc. Yes, I agree. And look, if you look back, we have tried over the years to get some players in there from the likes of Santos, like Rodrygo as an example. We looked at him. But you are right. Sometimes the work permit issues in the UK make these deals a little bit more difficult. And I'm not going to profess to know the ins and outs of the immigration laws of the UK, but certainly Brexit hasn't made it any easier for that to happen. But you are right. There are some bargains to be had there, and Portugal as well. Portugal have been good about bringing in some South American players as well. Jordan. Thank you, mate. Jordan Hunnable. Really appreciate your comment and your membership with us, mate, as an Ultra member for 5 months. Really appreciate you. Said, good murmurs on VVD and Trent. Bit quiet on the Mo front, which is a little concerning, although still not too sure on Trent, if I'm honest. So, I'm kind of with you on the Trent stuff. I'm certainly a little bit more relaxed after speaking to David than maybe I was previously, but I'm still probably 50-50 or 55-45 in favour of him staying. Virgil, look, the perceived wisdom there across the board seems to be confidence that he'll stay, which is great. But yeah, the other two, I would certainly say I'm not much more than 55-45 for Trent. And honestly, with Salah, I'm probably 40% he stays, 60% he goes at this point. But, that's just an opinion. It's not based off information or knowledge. Rachel, always lovely to see you in. Just moved into my new office today. Nice one. Congratulations, Rachel. Brilliant. I hope the job goes well for you. I hope you settle in, and I hope you've got good workmates in there as well. And hello to James, your partner, or your husband now. Sorry, your husband. Hello to James as well. Craig, I'm back 8 weeks out after the loss of my wife. My goodness, Daryl. Man, I'm so sorry about that. I know we spoke about this before, Daryl, but I couldn't imagine losing my wife, mate. So, great to have you in with us. If you need a chat or anything, you know where we are. But yeah, man, I hope you're doing as well as can be expected. Difficult time for you, bro. But great to have you in with us. When is the Chelsea preview out? I recorded it, Dale. I recorded it this evening, so it'll be out tomorrow morning. It's up there and ready for Connor to do his bits of magic to it, and it should be uploaded tomorrow. 7DVZE, thank you, sir, for your super chat. Said, still think all three will sign, to be honest. I very much hope you're right, my friend. I mean, I want you to be right more than my gut instincts feel this will work out. But yeah, I'm with you. I hope you're right, mate. I really do. By the way, I'm now a musical artist, by the way. Just in case you're wondering, I searched Anfield Agenda earlier on because I was bored. And for some reason, Google seems to think that I'm a musical artist. Even on our YouTube profile, like, it says Anfield Agenda, musical artist, and then it goes on to say that we're a fan channel. But I'll take musical artists. Me, Stormzy, Adele, Kendrick. You know, we're all doing our bit for music. I'm getting stronger. My wife is 44 years old. My 7-year-old boy is struggling. My wife's 43. I'm 43. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it, mate. My own father passed away at 45, so I hope your boy does as well as can be expected, mate. And lots of love to him. Give him a hug from all of us. Tell him his Anfield Agenda family are definitely thinking about him and, sending him love. Right, loads more bits and pieces to go through, my friends. Dave O.C. Cop put up something earlier that he claims is an exclusive, but either way, it's a positive update, so let's go with that. He said, talks are progressing well between Liverpool and Trent over a new deal. Liverpool are hoping to tie him down to a multi-year deal, with confidence growing a deal will be reached. Now, claims this as an exclusive, and you go into it and there's literally no information in the article other than it says there are ongoing talks about a new contract. Both sides are confident an agreement can be struck. I mean, how that's an exclusive, I don't know, but there we are. What's the rap name then? Oh man, I don't know. I think I'd be more of a country western singer than a rapper, to be honest. But I don't know, mate. What would be my rap name? I don't know. Fuck me, I don't. Let me think about that. Give me some suggestions, by the way, in the chat. What's my rap name? Yeah, less of the fat jokes, by the way, because I know there's going to be giant haystacks and all this stuff. But what's the rap name? You know, we need to come up with one now. One non-blonde. There you go. Yeah, I get that reference, Dave. I do. Tom, thank you, mate, for your super chat. Said Benfica executive in with Edwards, data incoming trust. There is a Benfica Rafa Marquez, I think we brought in over the summer, if my memory's right. But yeah, look, it'll be interesting to see how we do attack the winter and next summer's transfer window. Jeff, lovely to see you, my friend. Jess said, hi Craig and this amazing community. I have to say I'm loving the content you're doing with David Lynch. Love you. Daryl, you're in my thoughts. You'll never walk alone. Again, top class stuff there, mentioning Daryl and, you know, letting them know that he's in your thoughts, mate. And look, I'm loving the videos with David Lynch. I think we're getting into a better rhythm now as we do them. Obviously, the more we get to know each other, I think the better these videos become. So yeah, thank you, and I hope other people are enjoying them as well, because I'm certainly enjoying doing them. Not P. Diddy. Definitely not. Definitely not. Young Broccoli. Oh, I'm loving that, Alex. I'm loving that. Young Broccoli. Yeah. Although the name Young Anything's a little bit at the minute, isn't it? You know, we don't want to say it. Don't want to say it. Say nothing. You said it, not me. Do I like the Wolf Tones? Absolutely. Yeah. Growing up, all the way through my teenage years living at home, Let the People Sing, the EP was pinned to the door of my bedroom. So yeah, man, I'm always... My daughter went to the Wolf Tones on Sunday, which was a very proud moment for me. But yeah, huge fan. How's the lettuce? It's gone. Ten Hag beat the lettuce. You know, we had to admit defeat on it. I came home from Turkey and the lettuce was... You know what I mean? The lettuce has had better days. Let's just say that. Oh, and by the way, I don't know how to acknowledge this other than to say what I'm going to say, but incredibly sad to hear about Liam Payne's passing. Finished stream last night. Was chatting to my wife then. She said, did you hear that Liam Payne has died? And I said, no. And, you know, I don't, and I'm not going to get into any conjecture around anything. All I'm going to say is it's incredibly sad to see a 31-year-old man with a child like that pass away, and our love, thoughts, condolences, of course, with his family and friends and former bandmates as well. It's incredibly sad to see that. So yeah, again, our condolences. Old Dirty Broccoli, there you go. Old Dirty Broccoli, yeah. Yeah, I like it. Old Dirty Broccoli. Craig, do you remember the TikTok about Poundland, Liam Payne chatting rubbish? I do, yeah. It's one of the few things I've ever really bitten back on TikTok, but yeah, I mean, I remember it. I absolutely do remember it, yeah. Coach Bill said, Craig, the latest one, a United manager was sacked. Well, do you know what? It's going to be interesting to see what United do now, actually, because obviously Ten Lasso's still in there. Klopp is now the English national team manager, so that's going to be interesting. I mean, all signs pointing to maybe Gareth Southgate if England do make a change. I know Gareth Southgate said he won't manage for another year or so, but I'm sure that they can convince him. I'm sure us, the footballing world, can convince him to take that United job. It's what we all want. Devon said, I'm so sad. I'm from where he's near Wolverhampton. There are flowers everywhere. It's incredibly sad, mate. It is. To see anybody pass away of that age with a young child or anything, regardless of whether they're famous or they're not, it's incredibly sad. And certainly, as I said, condolences and love to his friends and family. P Nibbles. Do you know what? I've actually lost £7, believe it or not. I don't know how. Don't ask me, because I've not done anything. But I've lost £7, so I'm happy about that. Going in the right direction. Even after coming back from a couple of holidays, to be down £7, I'll take that. Usually after a holiday, I'm going the other direction by 6 or 7. What's this? Rotten Broccoli and Lettuce is the rap name. Well, next up is Ten Hag versus the Potato, so let's see what works out there. Rachel, you're just flexing on us now. You're flexing on us, mate. So right into my new music room at home. Jeez, come on now, right? So I'm a YouTuber and I don't even have a room yet. I'm not messing. I'm in the corner of the living room here with the green screen. I wish I had a studio or a room to move in. Shane, how are you, mate? Welcome in. Thank you for the super chat. You didn't put a comment in, mate, but I appreciate your support nonetheless. Thank you, sir. Right, let's check in on this poll. So we said, if we have to lose one player, who? And it's a landslide. Now, look, again, everybody wants all three to stay. We found that out a minute ago. We did the poll. 90% of people wanted all three to stay. But wow, 76% so far, with over 700 votes now cast, would prefer, if we had to lose one, for that one to be Mohamed Salah. Do you know what? I think I agree, but it's like Sophie's Choice. You don't want to lose any of them. But I think the reasoning behind people's answers is most likely Trent is coming into his prime and he's a local lad and he's 26. So you don't want him going anywhere. So that one I think is a given. And then if you look after that, I think we've a bigger fall off if we lose Virgil, because he's so key to our defence. He's our captain. He's our leader back there. So I understand where everybody's coming from on this one. And I appreciate your honesty, everyone who did vote in it as well. We'll leave it up till we get to 1,000 votes. So if you think differently, you know what to do. Please vote away and let us know. Tom Goldsworthy said, Hicks and Gillette are united and why is Eric Ten Hag? I just don't get it. I don't get how they think this is going to end any other way than Ten Hag getting the sack. That's how it's going to end. It's just a matter of when at this point for me. And on that, did you see they had a former Manchester United legend on the overlap this week? I'm sure you've probably seen Howard Webb made an appearance on there with all his fellow chums, Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Wayne Rooney, the lads that he used to look out for. And please stop this. Please, football world, please stop this. Please stop us having to listen to referees, former referees, or anything to do with refereeing. I can speak for the whole football world to say, and I mean this sincerely, we don't give a fuck. We don't want to listen to them. We don't want to hear from them. We want them to piss off into insignificance, because all that bringing in VAR has done is create this, I don't know, demigod status for some of these officials who are in front of cameras all over the shop now. Let these clowns focus on doing their job, which they're not able to do very well. I think the majority of football fans feel that way about the Premier League officials. So you can give all the softball interviews you want to the likes of Howard Webb, or to see Michael Owen on there, again another former Manchester United legend, speaking to Howard Webb, a former Manchester United legend, on mic'd up. Come on. Enough is enough with them. We don't want to hear from them. They can't do their jobs. We want them to be better. We don't want them to talk more. We want them to be better. And I'm fed up of it personally. You know, we were promised something with VAR, and that was that it was to come in to being to an end the debates. Everything was going to be much more transparent, much more clear, much more definitive. And it isn't. It isn't. All we get now is Mike Dean rammed down our throats, Dermot Gallagher rammed down our throats. So if somebody wants to interview Howard Webb, let a fan channel have a pop at it. Let me, Goldbridge, Robbie, Brian, somebody have a go at it. Because I promise you, the line of fucking questioning would be an awful lot different to the softball, tickle me nuts nonsense that Michael Owen and these other lads are giving them. Again, let somebody with an actual backbone do these interviews. Somebody who will actually ask the questions that football fans want answering. And not this nonsense about, well, yeah, Howard, yeah, both of them went in high there. Did they though, Howard? Did they? Were you watching a different game to me, mate? Because Alexis Sanchez didn't go in high, unless you call getting karate kicked Mr. Daniel LaRusso style from Jeremy Doku in the chest going up high, you dumb little fraud. That's what we should be hearing on Mic'd Up. But no, what we're getting is, well, Howard, this week we have this incident, and you're going to tell me why the referee was fucking marvellous. Now, I'm going to sit back here and nod along, Howard. The floor is yours, sir. You work away. Not good enough, lads. Be better. Am I wrong, though? Am I wrong? Would you prefer to see me, Goldbridge, Robbie, Spurs TV, anybody interviewing Dermot Gallagher or some of these former referees? Wouldn't you? Let's be honest. You know, whoever your favourite is, you'd want us doing it, because you know we're not going to just pander to them. We're not going to give them the softball questions. Tom said, I turned off when he said undermining your mates. Exactly. As soon as Mike Dean admitted not doing his job, not sending Anthony Taylor over to the monitor because he didn't want to give his mate grief, that was it. That's all I needed to hear. But now Sky decided he's the man. He's the guy we want. He is the voice of reason, rationale and honesty that we want to highlight here on Sky Sports. So let's give Mike Dean the job of giving us the refereeing opinion. Yeah, we can hang our hats on that, knowing that Mike Dean is a fucking gospel according to refereeing, that never, ever, ever, ever did anything untoward whatsoever. Oh wait, he did, he admitted it. And what did Sky do? You know, the ones who were telling us about transparency and all this other crap that they profess to care about, until it's time to actually show a pair of balls, and then it's, well no, this lad gets clicked, so let's bring him on. I'd rather see you doing it because you would hold those pathetic people accountable. Exactly. And that's it. You know, nobody wants to see slapping each other on the back and everybody saying how great they are and a big circle jerk. Nobody wants to see that. People want to see these lads getting asked real questions. If you're going to come on and tell us why these decisions were right, then you should be challenged from people who don't believe they were right. Not people who are just going to go and nod along like a good little puppy dog and just go, right, what else we got? Craig, do you genuinely believe yourself as being a referee in any Premier League game or one of the best referees ever? Am I right? What? Do you genuinely believe yourself as a... I don't know what that means. So, I like Jared Gillett. I think Jared Gillett's a good official. Certainly the best of the bunch that I'm seeing in the Premier League right now. And look, as much as I go in on referees, I think we all admit they have a difficult job. But sometimes they just don't make it easy on themselves. And again, some decisions last year, as a Liverpool fan, and I can only speak from my perspective because I'm sure if you're an Arsenal fan watching, Chelsea fan, United fan, you'll have your own instances. But it was very difficult for me to stomach seeing that Luis Diaz goal ruled out, to see Martin Odegaard's handball not even referred for the referee to have a look, to see the Jeremy Doku kick against Alexis McAllister, to see all that stuff go and the ref not even called to the monitor. I find that very hard to square off and have any faith in the system. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of Premier League referees these days. Most of them, although I do think Jared Gillett does a decent job. You've a wonderful community, Craig. Please never change and be yourself. Not the biggest fan of opening up, but I found out today my dad only has a few weeks left to live. Fucking hell, mate. It's I've always found speaking about things helps. Again, each person varies, but for me, I don't feel it cures anything, but it certainly helps to get this stuff off your chest and even to get another fresh perspective on it from somebody. So, mate, we're all sending love to your dad and your family, of course. And I would say continue to open up, mate. Continue to talk these things through because only good can come of it. As they say, a problem shared is a problem halved. There's some truth to that as well. Martin said, we need a succession plan for Mo and VVD, even if they renew. I think that's fair, Martin. Now look, we've got Kwanzaa coming through, and who's to say that the future of that defence might not be Jarell Kwanzaa and Ibrahima Konate, and then maybe we bring in another player and we've somebody coming up through the academy system. But you are right, we do need the succession plan. I guess with Mohamed Salah, you might think if he stayed for 2 more years, that certainly gives some of the players out on loan, like Ben Doak, an opportunity to develop a little bit more, and then Liverpool get a better read on where they're at and if they're really capable of maybe being the next Mohamed Salah or the next Liverpool right winger. So yeah, I would say you're right in what you're saying, but I would hope and hopefully assume that the club would be thinking that way as well. Right, so next Manchester United manager odds, just really quickly because Mark sent them in to me. Van Nistelrooy 5-2, Carrick 7-2, McKenna 6-1, Southgate 7-1, Potter 12-1, Amarim 12-1, and Thomas Frank 20-1. So, yeah, I mean, if I was a United fan looking at that list, slim pickings, to be honest with you. Slim pickings. Yeah, I would feel most of those names would still be a risk. Referee is John Brooks for Chelsea game. Yep, it is, Mark. Thank you for that as well. It is indeed John Brooks. Right. A few more bits and pieces here. So Miguel Delaney, writing for the Independent, said Trent Alexander-Arnold has not, repeat, has not yet ruled out staying at Liverpool, although there remains a gap between their prospective wage offer and what he would accept. Now, this is interesting, right? Miguel's a fantastic journalist, by the way, so I always listen when Miguel says or writes anything. And that's interesting, right? Because they're saying there's a gap between what Trent wants and what maybe Liverpool have offered. Okay, that's not unusual in a negotiation, but I'd be interested to know what the offer would be on the table from Madrid. That's what intrigues me about all of this, because I don't see a world where Madrid are going to pay Trent more than we would. And I also don't think that there should be a world in which we should have to pay Trent more than he would be getting at Real Madrid, although we probably will have to. So it's interesting. I don't know what that gap in valuation is, but what I took from that piece was that there is a number that if Liverpool get to, Trent will sign on for. And that is surely a good indication. Because if he has his mind set on moving away, then there isn't really going to be a number, is there? It's a case of, look, I've thought about it, I want to take up a new challenge. But if there's a number and the negotiation's ongoing, I think that's a positive sign or an indication, personally. Pierre said, what the hell is this poll? Well, you joined us late and you're coming in trying to be an asshole. So I'm going to be an asshole right back to you. The poll is in reference to the start of the stream, where somebody asked the question, Actually, somebody started off, Pierre, by saying, why do Liverpool fans want to get rid of Mo? And I said, no Liverpool fan that I'm aware of wants to get rid of Mo. And then we ran a poll that said, do you want all 3 players to stay at the club? And 90% said yes. So somebody else said, well, if we have to lose one, who would people want to lose? And I said, I don't know, mate. I can't answer that question. Let's put it to the chat. And we did. So you can take your attitude and go fuck yourself. Firstly, you arrogant little twat. Fuck me. The entitlement and arrogance, you little clown. So yeah, I hope I answered your question. Devon said, ever have a show in Birmingham? We were looking at it, yeah. We were looking at Birmingham as an option at once. Yeah, maybe next time, Pierre, don't come in and be an asshole somewhere. Maybe come in and actually ask a question without, a tinge of arrogance about it, or a little kind of I'm better than you bullshit. Seriously? So anyway, back to the poll, which we've had 900 votes on. So when we get up to 1,000, we'll let that one go. And we said, if you had to lose one player, who? And so far, it is Mohamed Salah. 77% of people said they would, if they had to lose a player. I'm not saying like it to be Mo, because nobody wants Mo to leave, but Mo's certainly looking like the one that people feel are most likely. How's your day been? Yeah, it's been good, thank you. Been good. We had a meeting with our accountant today, which is always nervy, going to see the accountant. But yeah, so far so good, mate. Always happy to be on here. And look, I'm buzzing to be looking ahead to the game of the weekend as well. And speaking about that, give me some score predictions for the game against Chelsea on Sunday. Remember, it's a 4:30 kickoff. We're going to make a slight change, and we're going to start going live at 3:15 for this one, an hour and 15 minutes before, kind of just to keep it in check with when the team news is announced. So 15 minutes earlier than normal, we're going to kick off from this weekend. Someone said I wouldn't like to get cooked by Craig. Look, I have a very simple rule. I treat people how they treat us. And if people come into our community and start throwing their weight around and being a smart ass, they're not really going to get very far with us. If you come in and ask a sincere question or try to contribute to the chat, welcome. We'll treat you with that respect. But, it's a two-way street. You got to show that respect to get it back. And some people, unfortunately, well, have got away with too much in life, is how I'd word it. Because remember, I can promise you, if I spoke to either of my parents with that type of attitude there that our friend old Mr. Pierre showed, back of the hand is what I would have been getting from mommy or daddy, and very much put in my place and told to get some manners. Do you think Harvey's going to be on the bench this weekend? No, mate. I think it was Dave O.C. and a couple of others suggested maybe, no, I'm lying to you, it came from The Athletic. End of October looks like the most likely return date for Harvey Elliott. Now, he is in the gym, which is great news. We've seen him in there doing a few bits. I also did ask David about Chiesa, and David's understanding is that Federico Chiesa is fully fit and should be available. He just missed the Palace game before the international break, so the belief is that he will be available for selection if Arne Slot decides he wants to use him this weekend. Right, let's get some predictions then. Let's go through some of the numbers. Williams gone 2-1 to us. Der Wizzy Lover 3-0. 2-1 for Gamer King. 4-2 for J Muse. George has gone 4-1 with Chiesa scoring his first goal. 3-1 to Liverpool, said SS90. 3-1 to Liverpool for Justin. 2-0 and a clean sheet. I mean, I'll take that, mate. I think there's going to be goals in this one. I really do feel that the way Chelsea play out, if we can get the press right and the timing right, I think we can cause them to make a couple of mistakes there. So I'm somewhere in the 3-1, 4-2 category on this one. I think there's going to be goals in the game. Jordan, very kind of you, mate. Jordan has very kindly gifted 5 Anfield Agenda memberships. Top man, mate. Thank you so much. Right, folks, I need a little favour from you. Remember, do hit that like button for me. There's over 1,000 people in the chat. If you do have a second, please do drop a like on the stream. We see if we can get that up over 500. Dale's gone 9-0. I mean, very optimistic, mate. FSG out's gone 3-3. Eddie Cox-Wilkins said 3-1 to Chelsea. I hope you're wrong, Eddie. I do, mate. I very much hope you're wrong, and I'm sure you probably hope you're wrong as well. 1-1 for Freddie. Sam, Foden's going 4-1. Dave, Humphrey going 2-1. Nunez and Gravenberg. 9-0 Dale, that's again optimistic. Lynn is going 3-2 to Liverpool. Yeah, I could see a way that that happens alright. Craig, from what we heard from Fab, Davo and Lynch, are you more confident about Trent's contract situation? Yes. Oh, I wouldn't say I'm more confident in that. I'm probably less worried. I guess maybe they're the same thing, but I still feel like I'm not at Verge levels of confidence. So I feel like, again, Verge most likely, Trent in the middle, Salah least likely. But yeah, certainly was calming to hear and get confirmation from David that certainly from the club's perspective, from his understanding, they don't feel like it's a lost cause or anything like that with Trent. Rachel, thank you very much again, Rachel, for gifting a membership. You're very kind. Canters, how are you, bro? 23 months with us as a member, mate. Almost a 2-year mark. Thank you so much. Said, I'd love a Nunez winner. It would make my weekend, to say the least. He's been so unlucky at the minute, even with Uruguay. Uruguay haven't been in a good vein of form. And they're coming under pressure, and so's their manager over it in Uruguay. And then, of course, his form hasn't been great with Liverpool, so yeah, I do hope he can start to turn it around soon. But, ultimately it's going to be on him to keep working hard and convince Arne Slot that to give him the opportunity. And then, of course, he's got to take it. What have we got? 1-0 said Spy Ninja Edits. Can see it being an 85th minute goal. Ricky Paul said a nervy 2-1 win to us. Always close with Chelsea. Yeah, they are usually close games, mate. You're right. Let's just hope we don't get a 0-0 stinker like some of the League Cup finals and stuff. Chelsea just hit on the counter with Neto, Palmer, DIJK. Our midfield will control it. Look, I think we have the tools to get the win, but the game plans are going to be interesting for it, to say the least. Watching that Chelsea game before the international break and them insisting on playing out from the back, even with some mistakes in there, I think we can press them into some problems, but I don't want to get too optimistic about it, because usually when I get really confident about this, it bites me in the ass. So, I'm trying to be measured. I'm not expecting it to be a simple game anyway. Adrian, how are you, my friend? And thank you so much for your super chat. Said, hi, Craig. Any chance on trying the Boston show again? Much love. So, this is where I show my stubborn side, I guess, mate. Let me start off by saying I love America and I love visiting America, and I've always enjoyed my trips to America, but I feel very, very bitter over the last trip and how it worked out, and I feel very bitter about being removed from the ESTA visa waiver program because of an error that they admitted was a common one because of the wording on their own website. So I feel really pissed off about it all, and in all honesty, I don't expect to ever go to America again, because the hoops that they want you to jump through now to get the 10-year holiday visa involve more information than I've given in for bank loans. It involves an in-person interview in Dublin in the American embassy to go on a holiday. So no, I don't think so, unfortunately, mate. As much as it saddens me to say that, I'm that type of... I'm a bit of a stubborn bastard in that sense, and if I feel slighted by somebody or something, I find it very difficult to get moved past it, in all honesty. But again, nothing but love for my American audience and my American friends, because I've always loved my time over there. I probably even thought about moving there at one point, but that just left it all a bit of a sour taste. Same happened to my stepdad, said Sam Foden. It just feels so unnecessary, mate, Such a simple little error as well. I can understand maybe not getting on that flight or having to sort it out, but to be removed from a lovely little system that we have called the ESTA, which is a visa waiver program, it just makes it unappealing to go because of all the hoops you have to jump through then to get the visa for a holiday. Craig, do we get a statement win this weekend, or does Chelsea capitalise on the recent success and eke out a win or a draw? Thanks for your hard work. Honestly, mate, it never feels like work. And certainly never hard work. I'm in a very privileged position, and I'm very grateful for the platform you guys have given me. I think to rule out any result in this game would be foolish of me, because as you've said, Chelsea have absolutely shown an improvement this season as the season's gone on, and they do have a lot of attacking talent and threats, and Cole Palmer's had an incredible time since he's moved there. It's also the first one back after an international break, and historically we've started slower in those games, and we've kind of started slowly this season as well. So I'm looking for a fast start. I'm looking for the crowd to be up and Anfield to be ready for it. But I think, as I said, to rule out any result, I think all results are possible in this one. A win for us, a win for Chelsea, a draw. I don't know. I think the lads know this is probably their first real big test of the season. Going to Old Trafford, we didn't even have to get out of second gear to beat United. So if we can make a statement performance here and get a win, I think it might start to answer a few questions that certainly some of the pundits seem to have around Liverpool's longevity this season. It shows you a chairman who is willing to spend to get the players. I mean, yes, to an extent, Dave, but the scattergun approach of the way Chelsea have done it, which, I'm sure that they have a reason for it, but it was has been a very strange year and a half or 2 years there at Chelsea. To have spent £1 billion. Like, think about that. We throw these numbers around like they're nothing. They've spent over £1 billion on players. Over £1 billion. Like, Everton aren't even worth £1 billion. Right? They've spent over £1 billion on players. Madness. Actually, at least I don't think Everton are worth £1 million. I think or £1 billion. I think they're probably worth 600 or 700 million. But either way, madness. Any word on Danns? Yeah, Billy, the update on Jaden Danns is that we did know he was running. Now he's starting to up the intensity and the load on his training sessions. He'll then start to get minutes with the under-21s and Barry Lutus, and then I guess we'll see where we go from there. But the club are being cautious about this one, but he is on the way back and he is out on the pitch starting to do some work. Right, so we've had over 1,000 votes now, and we said if we had to lose one player, who would it be? Salah, 77% of you guys said the one you would most understand Liverpool maybe losing if we had to lose one would be Mo. Trent, 15%, and then the one that you most want to keep actually there is Virgil van Dijk with 7% only willing to lose Virgil. Mark said 427.5 million the Toffees are worth. There you go. So Chelsea could have bought 2 Evertons in the time they spent all that money. Paper Wins said Kudus or Rodrygo, Craig. Oh. For the way we play and the energy levels and the pressing, Kudus. But I'm not going to lie, mate. I would happily have either. I think Rodrygo and Kudus, I would love both of those. Look, I want to keep Mo, but again, I'm talking about if that came to it. I'd side with Kudus because the Premier League experience, the energy work rate, I think he'd suit us more. So I would probably edge with Kudus on that one. Again, let's get a poll on that to the chat, though. I think it's a good question to ask. Right, so I'm just going to say, what would I pose it as? Pick as a Salah replacement, who would you prefer? Okay. There we go. So I'm going to stick in neither as an option as well, because maybe people have other names that they prefer. So as a Salah replacement, who would you rather? Rodrygo, Kudus, or neither? And we'll leave that up and you guys can vote away. Again, if you can help me out with the likes, that would be much appreciated, folks. We're up at 385, so 115 to get us to 500. It only takes a second, but it does mean a lot. What's this one? Who's this from? So, more stuff from Dave. Says, Trent Alexander-Arnold's priority has always been to remain at Liverpool. There are ongoing talks about a new contract with both sides, confident an agreement will be struck. Liverpool are hopeful they can tie the Scouser down to a multi-year deal. Trent will not put pressure on Liverpool in relation to the proposed deal. He's willing to show his boyhood club respect and allow them as much time as needed to come up with a suitable offer. I mean, it's kind of like Trent's not going to put any pressure on Liverpool to come up with the number that he wants. As long as they come up with the number that he wants, he's not going to put pressure on them to come up with the number that he wants. But it has to be the number that he wants. But there's no pressure. There's no pressure, but it has to be the number. This number, not good enough. This is the one I want. There's no pressure though. But if you don't get this number, we're not going to talk about this number. But there's no pressure. That's the really important part here. No pressure. None. Weird. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me personally. You know, you either have a number and you want to stay at the club and you're going to tell the club, look, I want to stay, but this is my value. This is what I'm worth. Fair enough. But no pressure on it. Of course there's pressure. There's a big Real Madrid shaped elephant in the corner of the room. Of course there's pressure. Tom said, I see Renato Sanchez in goal. No chance he has a worldie. In goal? What? I'm very confused. Oh, Robert Sanchez. Sorry. I'm thinking Renato Sanchez in goal. What? Robert Sanchez, mate. Sorry, I got confused there for a second. Yeah, let's wait and see what happens. I think that Chelsea defence have a mistake in them. And if they insist on playing out from the back like that, I think we can spring a couple of presses and surprises on them. Imagine we had a Suarez in this team. Oh, Cameron. Oh. Ouch. Yeah. He's the most skillful player I've ever seen play for Liverpool anyway, Luis Suarez. Not saying he was the best. Give us a woohoo, Trent is staying. I mean, I wish I could, Lucas. And if he does stay, I promise you'll get a big woohoo. But look, I'm certainly feeling more optimistic than I did when I got up this morning. You know, speaking to David earlier on certainly made me feel that it's not a lost cause with Trent at the very least, and that there's still a possibility there to get it resolved, and I hope that is the case. But remember, no pressure. Any chance of Kvaratskhelia, said Billy. So in the summer it was a weird time around Kvaratskhelia because his agent and I think his father came out and said he wanted out of Napoli. Then obviously Napoli brought in Antonio Conte, and you know, he was assured very quickly that yes, they might lose Victor Osimhen, but he absolutely will not be made to sell Kvaratskhelia. And that was the case. He wasn't moved on. So the honest answer is I've no idea what the future holds for Khvicha Kvaratskhelia other than right now Antonio Conte wants to keep him at Napoli and doesn't want to lose him. So other than that, mate, I don't really know. Can you see Zubimendi move in January? Yes. And look, again, I'm taking some heart here from speaking with David, but I want to make something really clear. David absolutely did not say that this is going to happen in January. Not at all. Didn't say it. What he did say, and what many have said, is that Liverpool would certainly be open to the prospect of it if he changed his mind. But we still need that really important bit to happen, right? If he changes his mind. Now, all of that being said, it does make me think, is there a narrative being built here? Is there a quiet optimism maybe around January and this situation? Because not only have I seen that, I've seen stuff saying that Liverpool hope to address the midfield situation in the January market, which again would suggest that there is a plan afoot, whatever that plan might be. So I'm starting to feel like maybe, you know, but again, I want to emphasize nobody has told me that this is going to happen. All I can say with any confidence is that if he changed his mind, Liverpool would be open to the idea. but we've not yet seen any confirmation that that's the case. Craig, I'm nervous at the same time. Chelsea, Leipzig, Arsenal. Imagine if we beat both Chelsea and Arsenal. Does that give us a good chance of winning the league? Said Ali. I mean, it wouldn't do any harm, Ali, my friend, would it? Look, I'd take... If you had to lose one of those 3 games, I'd take losing to Leipzig and beating Chelsea and Arsenal in the Premier League, because, you know, I still think we're going to end up getting out of the Champions League into the knockout stages one way or the other. But it is a difficult run of games, and then there's a couple of Brightons back-to-back, I think, as well. Small matter of Real Madrid, I think, in the Champions League. Then Manchester City coming up as well. Leverkusen in the Champions League. There's some really tasty but difficult games coming up over the next couple of months. It's going to be really exciting. Like, I'm buzzing to get stuck into it and watch them all, but some tough ones, definitely. Arne Slot's squad is going to be tested throughout the next couple of months. Imagine a front 3, said Mark Bell, of Salah, Torres and Suarez all in their prime. It would be frightening. It would be filth, in a good way, is the best I can say it, mate. Oh my God, imagine that. And with Gerrard, and imagine those up front with Gerrard, Alonso and Mascherano maybe in behind. Oh! Alisson in goal, Virgil and Sami Hyypiä as centre-backs, Trent at right-back, Peak Robbo at left-back, midfield of Mascherano, Gerrard and Alonso, Suarez through the middle, El Nino coming in off the left, Salah off the right, game over, job done, you know, pack it up, it's over, quadruples every year. Imagine that. Imagine being able to put that team out in their peak for a season. Oh my God. The football, lads. The football be just... Imagine seeing Virgil van Dijk and Sami Hyypiä in their prime together. It'd make a man think, wouldn't it? It would be wow. Why Zubimendi when you have Grav? Because Gravenberch has been absolutely amazing, but he can't play every game. And that's the problem, you know, to want to make sure that you aren't exhausted when you get to the latter part of the season, or we don't overplay Ryan so he picks up injuries, or even if he just did get an injury, we really do need to have another really good option there. And, you know, I know the perceived wisdom is sometimes it's going to be just one of them playing, but maybe in certain games he would go with 2 of them in midfield with a McAllister, or 2 of them with a Szoboszlai. So it's not about not thinking Ryan's good enough at all. Every Liverpool fan has been blown away by Gravenberch this season, and you would be a fool not to have been. But yeah, look, we do need to make sure that we have options and the availability to rotate as the season goes on. Because how many times in recent years have we fallen away at the latter part? How many times have we been in all 4 competitions with 2 or 3 months to go, only to fall away in some of them because of exhaustion or injuries? So that's why, mate. It's just for that strength and depth. Excuse me. Have I been to a Champions League game away in another country? Technically, yes. I've been to 2 Champions League finals, but I've never been to a Liverpool away day in any competition. I've never been to a Liverpool away game in anything. The League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, Champions League, but I've been to a couple of finals. I was in Istanbul and Athens in 2005 and 2007. But I'd love to do an away day someday, especially a European one. I'd absolutely, but you know, the tickets are like hen's teeth, impossible to get. But God, it'd be amazing, yeah. And look, I will say this, the travelling cup, wherever it is, Premier League, in Europe, wherever, I mean, absolutely phenomenal. You'll hear them everywhere behind the team, singing songs. Fantastic, you know, great travelling support at Liverpool, and you know, fair play to them all for their, you know, I mean, it takes a lot, you know, and it costs a lot, so nothing but respect. What was it like in Istanbul in 2005? So I'm going to be entirely honest and say I nearly left. I did. I considered leaving at half time. I did, because like we were being wiped. We were being, like, you start thinking, what's the biggest defeat here in the final of the Champions League in history? So yeah, I did consider going, and I also nearly missed my flight back. And I don't think I was alone in that endeavour, by the way. I think a lot of people were kind of being rushed through that airport. But it was one of those things that never really hit me They, like, you celebrated, of course, but it never really dawned on me quite what we'd done until maybe 10 days later. You know, because look at that AC Milan team. That was like murderers row. They were killers. That was a team we had no right to be beaten. Like, the lineup, you know, your Maldinis, your Kakas, your Shevchenkos, it was just ridiculous. And we did it. And we did it from 3-0 down. Like, just a wow moment and experience. And I mean, weirdly, when I left Athens, I actually felt like we probably played better and probably deserved to win the Athens final more than we did Istanbul. So it was just amazing, as I'm sure you can imagine. Taksim Square was brilliant over in Istanbul. Do you know, I would have loved us to have gotten back to the Ataturk for another final, because they've since done up the stadium and improved it a lot, so that would have been interesting to revisit. Do you think Jaros plays against Brighton in the EFL Cup? Maybe. I mean, it's a tough one to gauge, isn't it, MJ? Normally, you would think that would be Kelleher's, but of course, Kelleher is now going to be playing. I mean, I'd understand it either way, is what I can say. If Arne decides, because it's not like Kelleher's going to play all season now, so I'd probably stick with Queeveen for the Brighton game, because I know he's not going to get much longer than maybe 4 to 6 weeks before Ali's back. So yeah, I think I'd stick with Kelleher, but I could understand it if Arne decided to go with Jaros. Do you think our new manager will overtake Alisson? What do you mean? I don't understand that question, Ben. Our manager overtaking Alisson? I don't know what you mean there, mate. Sorry. Do you mean drop him, or our new keeper will get in past Alisson? Because that I don't know the answer to, but I'm intrigued. And I love the words from Georgie Mamardashvili to say he wants to come in to challenge to be number one. Good. That's the mindset I want him having. JMU said, your Barca comeback watch along is legendary. What a night, lads. What a night. If I could relive one night on the channel, that's it, definitely. It was amazing. That and the night that the Super League got killed off. They were two nights that will live with me for a long, long, long time. So, Pep Lijnders, by the way, he's been speaking a little bit about Arne Slot and Liverpool's good start to the season. And this is what Pep had to say. I'm really proud and I'm really blessed that Arne is doing what he's doing, because this was the whole idea when we leave, that we leave the club and the team in a really, really strong moment. And I think they did that, to be fair to them. And Arne has come in, and do you know what I've really enjoyed Arne saying, you know, paying homage to Virgil, or excuse me, to Jurgen and to Pep Lijnders for the squad he inherited. He's always been very complimentary about coming in to such a good squad. Do I think our new goalkeeper will overtake Alisson? Eventually, yes, Ben, but the first season's going to be an interesting one. Because, you know, my mind said, do they know something about Alisson that we don't know? Do they think that maybe Alisson will want to move on? And that's the question I'd like to have answered. And also, what's going to happen with Kelleher? Because if we lost Alisson and we lost Kelleher, then you'd hope that Jaros is ready to step up to be the number two. But it's going to be interesting. But I do think that the club have brought in a very, very good goalkeeper for the longer term. Whenever Alisson does depart, I do think Mamardashvili is going to be top notch. I mean, he's just under 2 meters tall, 6'6", and some of the training drills I've seen of him, he looks the business. Sama Varga said, did you see Dom got engaged yesterday? Yes, we congratulated him on the stream last night. Wonderful to see him get it. I think it was the 4 Seasons over in Budapest, if I'm not mistaken. With the post, he said yes. And look, brilliant. Always love to see our players like that, happy and enjoying their lives. So yeah, wish him nothing but many years of happiness to him and his fiancée. Pep Lijnders could be looked at replacing Slot. I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable with that, Dave, in all honesty. No, I don't think Pep Lijnders is... I just don't see him as a manager, personally. I see him as a top-level coach, a brilliant number 2. But when he has made that transition into first team management, and he was unlucky in Holland with his first job, but so far at Salzburg they've had a 4-5-0 defeat, I think, and some reports of some unrest in the dressing room around Bobby Clark, and obviously sending over the youngster on loan as well by Cecic. Apparently that's put a few noses at a joint in their dressing room, but no, I wouldn't be comfortable with it. I think we'd need a bigger name. Chris said, I'm pretty sure Ali said he loves it here and he wants to extend. He did. You're right, Chris. He did say he loves life here, but he also, if you watch back, I think it was the same interview, he did say about the money that some of the lads are getting in Saudi, and he did kind of talk about that a little bit as well. I guess maybe then the other thing to keep an eye on is the Manuel Neuer situation at Bayern Munich. If he moves on and they don't renew him, is Alisson maybe somebody they'd look at there as a potential replacement for Neuer? Talk Sport report Trent will leave on a free. Have we got the actual quote there? Look, I'm going to bite my tongue when I speak about Talk Sport because I don't really have many nice things to say about Talk Sport. So let's wait and see what happens. If they have said that and maybe they have some information, I'd like to see that information. I'd like to hear the perspective on it. But ultimately, I'm not a fan of TalkSport or their style or their delivery or most of their pundits and hosts. So yeah, not my cup of tea personally, but I believe Alisson's future will depend on the club maintaining Taffarel. Look, yeah, we did bring in Taffarel at Alisson's request, and we've a great goalkeeping department at the club, and we've produced some very good goalkeepers and maintained some very good goalkeepers. Ben said Grafenberg to become our number 6 and no need for number 6 in January. There is a need though, Ben. First part of your question, Grafenberg's been brilliant. We talked about this earlier on. Everybody will say what a great season he's having, but you still need to have another option in case he gets injured, suspended, or to just limit the amount of games that he plays, because we don't want him getting fatigued. He's got international games, club games. We need to have another option there. So we do need the number 6 in January, not to undermine Grafenberg, but to complement Grafenberg. Do you think Rodrygo will go to Liverpool? So, do I think we end up signing him? I'm unsure. Do I think he would come? Yes. I think if he was to leave Madrid, and that would have to be his first decision, I do think, yes, he would be open to move to Liverpool. We were in negotiations with him when he was at Santos. We tried to sign him for, I want to say it was like $3.5-4 million at the time. We nearly convinced him, but he decided to stay a little bit longer. I think he said he wanted to finish his studies, if my memory's right. And then, of course, Real Madrid came in and he went there. But I certainly think he'd be open to the idea if he was to leave Real Madrid. Lorcan said, did you read my email? No, I haven't seen any email, Lorcan, come in. Let me have a look now, mate. Again, if you sent it when I'm on the stream, I definitely haven't read it, no. Not seen it. I don't know when you sent it. Let me check the junk folder for you, mate. Nope. Not seeing an email there, Larkin. Unless you sent it maybe a while back, mate, but not seeing anything come in there in the last day or two. Yep, it's going back here now. Nope. No email there, mate, from yourself. Daily Mail also saying Liverpool are accepting the Trent to leave for Madrid. Not sure how reliable the Daily Mail is. I can tell you, not very. So look, today we've had David Lynch say on our channel that that decision is still not made and that Liverpool and Trent are still talking. We've had Miguel Delaney of the Independent say that Trent has given Liverpool a number and that they're a little bit away from each other at the moment, but that if you get to that number, he'll stay. Again, a very good journalist there, Miguel Delaney. Romano has said his priority is to Liverpool. You know, look, what I will say about all of this about Trent is, this is the problem. These conversations that we're having is why it's a distraction. And this is why I was so angry in the summer and in the months leading up to now. Because whatever happens, and we all hope for the best possible outcome, the fact that it is a massive distraction and will continue to be a massive distraction and will take up column inches, press conference time, will distract the players, that is why I'm so annoyed about it all. You know, even if at this point it's all sorted out and all three were to sign, I'm still annoyed about it. Because it's undermining the manager and it's undermining the season and it is a massive distraction. And the club need to take ownership of that fuck up. Because it is, under no mistake, a fuck up. To allow this to happen is a massive mistake. And it's going to get worse until it's sorted out. It's going to become more and more of a problem. And look, let's say, for example, he has decided he wants to go to Madrid. How does that pan out for the rest of the season? You know, realistically, if you're Arne Slot and he says, I'm off to Madrid next season, what do you do? Do you cut your nose off to spite your face and start playing Conor Bradley? Do you trust that he's going to give 100% between now and the end of the season? Now, not do you trust that he's going to come out and say he's going to give 100%, because everybody will say that. But do you trust him to put his body on the line in a 50-50 challenge? If he feels a niggle, do you trust him to play through the pain barrier? You know, these are things that I don't care what people say. I believe that they're going to undermine the team, and I believe that they're going to be a distraction, and I believe there's going to be a problem. And that's why these things shouldn't be allowed to get to this point. So that's my take on it. And I've been consistent on it for a while. Arthur said, opinion on Loic Balde. I don't know anything about him other than I've seen his name linked to Liverpool. Same when I asked David earlier on. Hadn't heard of the player either, which I thought good. It's not just me. So yeah, honestly, mate, I've seen the link, but I don't know anything about him. So yeah, sorry. Frankie, thank you, mate, for being with us as a member for 13 months now, bro. Really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Harry said, I've got feeling we get Christmas tree photo with contract extensions of all three or two and use it as an excuse not to spend in January. Do you know what? I'm going to be really honest here. A Christmassy photo was still too late. Because we've another international break to get through here, Harry. And, you know, this one's been bad enough seeing Bellingham and, you know, Trent together and the birthday card stuff. And then, of course, all the stuff written about Real Madrid. That's only going to intensify between now and the end of the next international break. So, you know, the longer this goes on, the more embarrassing I feel it becomes for the club. And I just want it sorted. I think we all deserve to know. And the manager and the players deserve to know what the future holds. What's my dream signing for Liverpool? It was always Bellingham. Bellingham, Wirtz, Musiala. And they'd probably be right at the top of my list. You know, if we're talking dream signings. Yeah, any of those three. I would also love Nico Williams from Bilbao, but I think he's Barcelona bound in the future. Gerard said, I do believe Salah will stay. He has a few more records to break. I hope you're right, mate, and I agree with you. I think, one, he's definitely still capable at the top level, and I think whatever happens, he's too good to go to the Saudi League at this moment in his career. You know, I just feel that he's got at least this season and two more at the top level. And I hope you're right. How much would Rodrygo cost in Kudus? So, all we can talk... With Kudus, I think there's a release clause of 85 million. I'm almost sure there's a release clause there of 85 million for Kudus. With regards to Rodrygo, there's a report saying £85.5 million. I feel like that number would probably be higher. So about 120 to 150 million euro would be my guess of an asking price. But Yeah, I would say the cheapest you're getting either of those is 80 million, and then upwards from there. Craig Adams said my dream signing would be Saliba. Look, we've got Kwanzaa and Kanade, so I'm all good with the younger centre-backs there that we have at the club. And Virgil is the best centre-back in the world, in my opinion, so, very happy with him there as well. Right, we only need 49 more likes to go to get to that 500, so if you have a second, folks, you know what to do. Hit that like button for me. And also a reminder, live show tickets are on sale. You can get them with the link at the top of the chat or in the description of the stream. Right, let's have a look at this poll then before we start finishing up for the night. As a Salah replacement, who would you rather? And we gave you 3 options. 55% of you guys said Rodrygo, Kudus 23%, and 21% would like neither. So of those two, certainly feels like, well, it is that most of you guys would rather Rodrygo. I would happily have either. I'd probably edge to the Kudus side of it because of the Premier League experience, and stylistically I like the way he's full of energy, and I think he would play into our pressing system and the way that we play well. But I'd happily have either one of them at the club, in all honesty. Johnny said, Mbeumo, worth a shout. Yes, certainly worth a conversation. You couldn't but be impressed with Bryan Mbeumo and his work rate, his honesty, his level of play. I thought he was older than he was. I think he's only about 24. I thought he was about 27 or 28. So that would certainly count in Mbeumo's favour as well. Lorcan said, Craig, just said thanks for reading my comment, but you're a great person. Oh, thank you, Lorcan. I appreciate that, mate. Look, I try to get through as many comments as I can, mate, because I appreciate you all giving up your time watching and interacting with me. So, yeah, thank you for your continued support, Lorcan. What do I think of Jared Branthwaite? Big fan. Yeah, would have him at Liverpool tomorrow if I thought it was possible. Yeah, I think Jared Branthwaite's a top-notch defender. I fear he may end up at Old Trafford, but I would be very, very happy if we somehow found a way to get him from the blue side of Merseyside over to the red. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say goodnight to you all, and I will see you tomorrow. The preview for the Chelsea game is coming out tomorrow morning, so do keep an eye out for that one. I'll have a news video out tomorrow evening as well at about 5 o'clock. And then, of course, I'll be live tomorrow, 8:45, with the late night agenda. So, yeah, thank you for joining me tonight. Again, if you're watching this back later on, love to see your comments. Let me know what you're thinking in the comment section. And if you haven't watched their video with David Lynch, it was a really interesting chat. I think you'll enjoy it, so do have a look at that. It's up on the channel at the minute. And if you're a podcast person, you can get the audio but on the Anfield Agenda podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, or Acast, or wherever you get your podcast from. See you tomorrow. Much love, my friends. Bye-bye.